I'm going to tell you something about what they call killer prescription drugs. And this comes from a book by Dr. Armand Neal, whose book is called Are Prescription Drugs Killing You? And the answer is yes, that people are dying left and right because of these drugs, and a lot of them are being prescribed even though the person doesn't need the drug. For example, suppose that you are your blood chemistry shows that your LDL is 190 or something like that. Well, for years it was 200 was the cutoff point. Now it's down to 100. So if you have 100 or right around there, your physician might say, well, you should get on a statin drug. Well, my wife was told that she needed to be on a statin drug, but she has problems with memory, so I told the doctor that I didn't want her to be on it because it causes memory problems. But there's more than just that. So suppose that she was given the statin drug. Now she has memory problems, and then what happens is that the statin drugs has many kinds of side effects. And so the side effects that they get, that she'll go back to her doctor, and her doctor will say, well, you have this symptom and you need to take this drug. And this drug causes another kind of side effect. And so you take another drug for that, and you have people, like Dr. Neal says, in nursing homes where they may have 20 and sometimes even 30 medications. Now, besides the exorbitant cost of all these medications, all these different drugs have an interaction. Now, who should know more about the interaction of these drugs than the pharmacist? Well, what Dr. Neal says, when he goes into certain places, the doctors just poo-poo him, because he's saying, well, they need this, or they need to be taken off this drug, or you need a different kind of a treatment, or maybe your diagnosis is a little premature and you should wait till the blood chemistry is different, or whatever it is. So the doctor is going by a test, and then he takes that symptom, and then he gives the patient a drug. And many times the time that the doctor takes to examine the patient is very brief, and they just go by symptom instead of getting the whole thing. For example, sometimes people are given blood pressure medication because their blood pressure is, according to them, high, like 140 over something. And 140 is one of the cutoff points for many doctors. As soon as they see that, they say, oh, you need a statin drug because your blood pressure's up. And when a lot of people, when they go in to see the doctor, their blood pressure goes up. Or the other day when I was pissed off at my wife about something, I went to the doctor. My blood pressure was 140, but usually my blood pressure is below 120. But because I was upset and I was still obsessing about it, my blood pressure was a little higher. But I know this, so I told the nurse to take the blood pressure again. But a lot of times the patient, especially older patients or people who are intimidated by their doctors, will say, well, do I need to have this? How are you going to argue with your doctor? Because, he's supposed to be someone who knows medicine, which he does, But the thing is that he is influenced by the drug manufacturers. We can't get around that. The doctors are influenced by him. The drug, they're called the detail men, they come in and they bring the drugs to the doctor. I know when years ago when we had a doctor, and he was a friend of ours, and so he would give us, free medication. But he didn't know for sure if the thing was going to have very many side effects because, they were just going by what he had heard, and he trusts the detail man. And just like we trust the doctor, he has to trust the detail man to be able to give him information. But I found, go to Wikipedia. Wikipedia talks about all these drugs, gives you the chemical makeup, everything, and you can check it. The doctor should be checking it himself. And, the doctor said, well, I don't have time to do that all the time, and I have to trust somebody. Unfortunately, the person he's trusting is a person who has a vested interest in selling the drug. I mean, that's what he's there for. That's how he makes his money. And in all fairness to the drug manufacturers, they spend sometimes $250,000 to get a drug on the market. And they have to make up their, so they don't go out of business, because otherwise their stockholders, which are most of us, are, now our stockholders. So we want them to make us some money. So they push the drug. Look at all the drugs, like Cymbalta is kind of interesting to me, because the advertisement is brilliant. I think it's just brilliant. Here it shows everybody, feel terrible. I'm depressed. And then doctor gives you Cymbalta. And what happens? I'm smiling, I play with my kids, I go dancing, I can run track, I set a new world record, And then they tell you the side effects. And the side effects are usually not even written. They're kind of told. They're loud enough to hear, but they're nothing in comparison with what the drug manufacturer is doing to sell you the drug. So you have for example, suppose you had a death in your family. Suppose it's someone really close to you, and you're in grief. Now, grief is a terrible thing. The pain of it is just as serious as any pain that we have. But this is part of life. This is part of human life. We suffer. We have grief. And therefore, we have to accept the fact that we're going to be in pain. But the drug manufacturer says, you don't have to be in pain. Pain is unnecessary. Take this and you won't feel any pain. You're going to be happy. Well, that may be. It may actually do that. And maybe to have it for a week or two or a couple of weeks or something when you're in the most acute pain, maybe that is helpful. But you've got to remember that every drug has a side effect. And the reason for the side effects are, like I said, the manufacturer's been testing it on thousands of people, and there's an average. And there's a few number of people that get side effects and different kinds of side effects. Now, this is because each one of us is exponentially different from each other. And this can be seen by reading Dr. Roger Williams' book, Biochemical Individuality, or You Are Extraordinary. He talks about the extraordinary difference between every human being. So by giving everybody the same drug, you're going to get different reactions. And you don't know if you're the one that's going to get that specific reaction. The only way that you know about it is when you take it. Okay, let's just say that you're in grief and you really want that and you need it because you can't function. So, but here's what you need to do. What you need to do is, as soon as you take the drug and you start feeling any of the side effects, you immediately get on the phone or you immediately go to the doctor and get him either to titrate it, put the dosage down, or to give you a different drug, or to take you off it. But we don't do that. And by the time you go to see the doctor, the side effects, which you hadn't told him about, are getting to you, and so he gives you another drug. And there's what Dr. Neal says begins the drug cascade, one after another. And think about it. If we didn't have this drug cascade, we would be saving billions of dollars. This is one of the problems in our healthcare system. And you can help make that difference by taking more care of yourself and being an advocate for your own health and not allowing doctors to push medication on you unless you have really checked it out and are sure that this is going to help you. So, what I really suggest you to do is listen in on Saturday, June 7th, I think it is, and my radio program, Blog Talk Radio. I see Dr. Rose, and I have this Dr. Armand Neal on my show, and we'll be talking about what you can do about it. And you need to get his book. His book will change your life. this video is just to get you started thinking about this and doing something about it. And I hope that I have helped you to do that. But it's still up to you to be your own advocate, take care of yourself, and not be bamboozled. But you need to be able to have a doctor that you trust. But he needs to be able to trust his pharmacist and other people's opinion. Thank you.